Battle through the heavens. By the time Xiao Yan woke up from his unconscious state, he was surprised to find himself lying on a soft bed. The entire room had a serene fragrance drifting within it. Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes. A dullness remained within them for a moment before a life force gradually surged into his dark black eyes. Xiao Yan lay on the bed for a moment as he roughly glanced at the interior of his body. He did not find anything wrong with it. His originally exhausted spiritual strength from having refined the fire bodhisattva pill had also significantly recovered. That kind of weak and weary feeling had also long since disappeared. This is. Xiao Yan quietly sighed in relief within his heart when he sensed these changes. He immediately sat up on the bed and glanced at the empty room with some uncertainty. After which, he rubbed the storage ring on his finger as a reflexive action. Only after he found that he did not lose anything did he let out a heavy sigh of relief. "You have already been unconscious for 5 days." A familiar voice suddenly sounded within Xiao Yan's heart while he was sighing. It was actually Tian Huizunjia whom Xiao Yan had not heard from for a long time. Xiao Yan's eyes glanced at the white-colored ring on his finger and involuntarily laughed in his heart. "Old Mr. Yao, it has been a while. Your condition seems to be good. I can be considered all right. By borrowing your blessing in the heavenly mountain blood pool, my spirit was also nourished by it and gained some benefits. After which, I did not reveal myself due to there being Dou Zun experts appearing around you all the time." Tian Huizunjia's voice quickly sounded within Xiao Yan's heart. Xiao Yan was involuntarily startled when he heard this. He asked, "Has your current strength recovered to the Dou Zun class? How can it be so easy? Do you really think that it is so easy to recover to the Dou Zun class?" Tian Huizunjia snappily replied when he heard Xiao Yan's words. "If I am unable to find a suitable body, it is likely that I will never be able to recover my Dou Zun strength." Xiao Yan quietly laughed. With Yao Lao's ability, even he had difficulty truly reaching the Dou Zun class without a physical body. It seemed that a body was of great use to the advancement of one's strength. "Old Mr. Yao, don't be anxious. I will help you resolve the matter of refining a body for you as soon as possible." After having entered the middle region, which was the center of the entire continent, the experts whom Xiao Yan had to face possessed terrifying strengths. Although he had currently broken through to the Dou Zone class, it was not enough to allow him to roam the middle region without fear. Any one of the top-tier factions in this place has some old demon present within it. He was in possession of many treasures. If someone ended up getting jealous and wishing to forcefully snatch them, it was likely that he would face continuous trouble if he did not have some strength to act as a deterrence. An elite Dou Zun would naturally provide the most deterrence. If he had an elite Dou Zun guarding beside him all the time, he would be able to straighten his back when he did anything in the middle region. Hence, he needed to try his best to bring forward the matter of helping Tian Huizunjia refine a physical body. The bone-growing blood-fusing pill was a Tier 7 peak-grade medicinal pill. It was rumored that it was a pill that could save anyone who had a breath remaining. If one were to compare it, this medicinal pill was of a higher grade than the fire bodhisattva pill Tang Zhen wanted to refine. By looking at it from this point of view, it would not be overboard to place this bone-growing blood-fusing pill into the 8th tier. Some of its mysterious and unique effects allowed it to possess the qualifications to step into that tier. Although Xiao Yan had reached the level of a Tier 7 alchemist, he was not confident he could refine this bone-growing blood-fusing pill. Of course, forget about him, even some old renowned alchemist grandmasters, who had remained at the 7th tier for a long time, had a low chance of success when refining a medicinal pill like the bone-growing blood-fusing pill. The level of difficulty when refining a Tier 7 medicinal pill was something Xiao Yan had personally experienced. If he had entered into that kind of mysterious condition in the inner academy back then, it was likely that he would end up failing. This time around, he could not be considered to have refined the pill alone. Instead, it was the combined effort of Grandmaster Huan, Tang Zhen, and himself in order for it to succeed. Although Xiao Yan had put in the greatest effort among them, it was likely that he would have difficulty successfully refining the fire Bodhisattva pill if he had to refine it alone. After all, a high-grade Tier 7 medicinal pill was not an ordinary item. According to ordinary circumstances, Xiao Yan could forget about refining the bone-growing blood-fusing pill without 2 to 3 years' time. If this was the case, the matter of the physical body refinement would have to be pushed back. However, even if Tianhua Zunzhe could wait at this moment, it was likely that Xiao Yan could no longer do so. Therefore, he could only think of other methods to help Tianhua Zunzhe refine a physical body. The bone-growing blood-fusing pill is too high tier and I am unable to refine it at this moment. Hence, I can only use a medicinal pill with an effect similar to it as a replacement. The effect of this might be a little poorer, but there is no other choice. Once I have my abilities increase in the future, I can help refine an even better one. Xiao Yan's eyes revealed an expression of being deep in thought. He immediately shut his eyes and his spiritual strength entered the dark black ring Yao Lao left behind. After which, he swiftly searched within the ocean-like medicinal formulae. He needed to find a medicinal formula that could replace the bone-growing blood-fusing pill. The interior of the storage ring contained Yao Lao's entire collection over his lifetime. The volume of the collection was extremely frightening. Hence, the search this time around exhausted over 2 hours of Xiao Yan's time. 2 hours later, Xiao Yan finally opened his tightly shut eyes. He clenched his hand and a pale green scroll appeared in it. Yin Yang Life Soul Pill. A Tier 7 middle-grade medicinal pill. It possesses the mysterious effect of fusing a soul and returning life. The refining ingredients are the Soul Revival Demon Fruit, Life Soul Ghostface Flower. This so-called Yin Yang Life Soul Pill possessed an effect that was similar to the bone-growing blood-fusing pill. Moreover, it was only a middle-grade Tier 7 pill, something Xiao Yan could coincidentally refine. It was quite a good choice to replace the bone-growing blood-fusing pill. The medicinal ingredients needed to be refined are a little troublesome. Moreover, there are some extremely rare, precious medicinal ingredients among them. However, it should not be too difficult to find them in this middle region. A middle-grade Tier 7 is something within my acceptable range. I can guarantee the success rate of its refinement. The only flaw is that this pill is not as perfect as the bone-growing blood-fusing pill, however, overall, it can be considered not bad. The imperfections in the medicinal pill can be made up in terms of the skeleton and essence blood. Xiao Yan absorbed the information of the medicinal formula into his mind. He mused for a moment before he softly spoke. Yes, I will leave this matter up to you. Everything is fine as long as I am able to possess my own body. I have already had enough of being in such a state. Tianhua Zunzhe spoke without any objections. You can rest assured that I will find the medicinal ingredients to refine the Yin Yang Life Soul Pill as quickly as possible, and I will begin to refine the pill upon having gathered all of them. I will definitely allow you to possess your own body within the shortest amount of time. Xiao Yan nodded and spoke with a smile. Tianhua Zunzhe also grinned when he heard this. He said, if you have the time, you should practice the 5-ring flame expelling technique that I have imparted on you. The might of it when you can form the 5-ring flame expelling formation will definitely not disappoint you. Of course, Xiao Yan clearly understood in his heart that only if 4 of the 5 types of fire spirits in the 5-ring flame expelling formation were formed from heavenly flames, only then would the 5-ring flame expelling technique be unleashed at its peak. However, That level was likely something that could only be achieved after Xiao Yan had obtained the 3000 burning flame. Old Mr. Yao, please relax. The 5-ring flame expelling technique is your greatest skill. The old me will naturally not abandon it so easily. Xiao Yan's heart became a little boiling hot when he thought of the skill's might at the peak level. He softly laughed in his heart when he did so. The old me has not lied to you. Back then, this 5-ring flame expelling technique shook the entire continent. Unfortunately, the current Dou Qi continent seems to be unaware of my old name. Tang Huazunja's tone contained some pride. Clearly, he was also quite a famous person in this Dou Qi continent back then. Xiao Yan slightly smiled. Any expert who could become a Dou Zun were all renowned individuals. Hence, Xiao Yan did not doubt Tian Huazunja's words. After chatting for a while with Tian Huazunja within his heart, Xiao Yan leaped off the bed and moved his body a little. After which, he walked out of the room. Since he had already helped Tang Zhen refine the fire bodhisattva pill, it should be time to settle the matter of the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Creak. A tightly shut door was gently pushed open and Xiao Yan slowly walked out. After which, he raised his eyes and looked around. There was a garden outside of the room that was filled with many beautiful flowers. A gentle breeze blew over as a faint flower fragrance drifted over the entire garden. It gave one's heart a tranquil feeling. Have you woken up? A clear lovely voice suddenly sounded while Xiao Yan's eyes were sweeping around. He looked over, only to see a red-clothed lady sitting within the garden. She had a long upper body. Looking at her from the side, her body appeared to reveal an alluring figure that extended from her neck to her hip. Xiao Yan had seen this lady before and knew she possessed a high status within the Burning Flame Valley. Immediately, he smiled and nodded to her. The red-clothed lady stood up. Her tall figure was beautifully accentuated before she swiftly walked to Xiao Yan. After which, she revealed a bright smile. My name is Tang Hui'er. Thank you very much for your help this time around. As the both of them were standing close to each other, Xiao Yan was able to sniff the faint, serene fragrance that was being emitted from the body of the lady in front of him. He raised his eyes and was coincidentally able to see some redness within Tang Hui'er's pretty face. Xiao Yan had run into quite a number of beauties during these years. This Tang Hui'er's appearance might not be comparable to the bewitching looks of Kai Lin, but she possessed a demeanor that belonged only to her. She appeared graceful and valiant, possessing an alternative charm. Xiao Yan observed Tang Hui'er as he revealed a smile on his face. He cupped his hands together and said, "Greetings to Miss Tang. Don't call me whatever Miss Tang. If you do not mind, you can just call me Hui'er. You can be considered my savior, hence, there is no need for you to be so distant." Tang Hui'er waved her hand and quickly replied after Xiao Yan formally addressed her. You have been unconscious for 5 days. Father has told me to bring you to him once you have awoken. I think that you are intending to look for him now, right? Tang Hui'er's bright pretty eyes swept over Xiao Yan while she laughed in a lovely manner. In that case, I will trouble Miss Hui'er, Xiao Yan smiled as he responded. Follow me, but I wish to also ask you, why are you so interested in the Skyfire 3 mysterious flame of my Burning Flame Valley? Tang Hui'er had just turned around when she suddenly remembered something. After which, she asked somewhat curious about why he wanted it. Xiao Yan was startled when he heard this. He hesitated for a moment before saying, I can only say that the Skyfire 3 mysterious change is extremely suitable for me to practice. Tang Hui'er was somewhat surprised by Xiao Yan's reply. She raised her eyebrows and said, there is actually such a thing. But my father has already said that one requires a great talent to practice the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Her words caused Xiao Yan to become dull, especially after he sensed the somewhat fiery eyes of Tang Hui'er. He involuntarily and bitterly laughed. This woman appeared to be even more competitive than some men. Tang Hui'er covered her mouth and laughed when she saw Xiao Yan become a little embarrassed. She turned her body and led the way in front. She talked to him as she walked, "No matter what you think, I will naturally not be able to say much now that father has promised you. However, I shall remind you that it is not an easy matter to obtain the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Even if father has given you a chance, it will be extremely difficult for you to obtain the Skyfire 3 mysterious change if you do not possess some ability." Xiao Yan quietly tilted his head in acknowledgement. The Skyfire 3 mysterious change was a carefully guarded secret technique of the Burning Flame Valley. It would be unusually difficult for him to obtain it. Nevertheless, he had already come to this place. Why would he end up giving it up? Xiao Yan, who was beside Tang Hui'er, also attracted quite a great amount of attention as a result. The disciples within the Burning Flame Valley were familiar with this young alchemist grandmaster, who had aided the valley chief in refining a pill. During these couple of days that Xiao Yan had been unconscious, talk about him had become hottest topic among the many disciples within the Burning Flame Valley. Xiao Yan followed Tang Hui'er for over 10 minutes in front of the many eyes. Only then did they stop outside a large hall with a magnificent aura. The Skyfire 3 mysterious change is the top secret technique of the Burning Flame Valley. According to the rules of the valley, it cannot be taught to an outsider. Although father is the valley chief, he alone cannot make the decision over such matters. After all, the interior of the Burning Flame Valley still has an elders' council. Those pedantic old fellows are not so easy to deal with. Tang Hui'er softly explained after stopping outside of the large hall. Xiao Yan slightly nodded upon hearing this. It seemed that this attempt would not be a simple one. However, you can rest assured that father will definitely put in a word for you since he promised you. He is the valley chief. Even the elders' council cannot easily refute his words, Tang Hui'er quickly added, appearing afraid that Xiao Yan would have other thoughts. Xiao Yan smiled and nodded. He replied, with valley chief Tang's status and position, it is naturally impossible for him to deceive an unknown little person like me. An unknown little person does not possess the ability to refine a tier 7 medicinal pill. Tang Hui'er rolled her eyes at Xiao Yan. After which, she maintained a somewhat normal expression and waved her hand to him. After which, she turned around and walked into the large hall. Xiao Yan hurriedly followed behind her. Xiao Yan successfully entered the large hall with Tang Hui'er leading him. At this moment, the atmosphere within the large hall was somewhat pressurizing. There were quite a number of fully armed disciples of the Burning Flame Valley around the large hall, causing the atmosphere of the hall to become much more solemn. Around 10 old fellows were seated below these two white-haired, old men. These elders possessed great strength. Elder Qi Hua, who had brought Xiao Yan to the Burning Flame Valley, was among them. Clearly, they were the elders of the Burning Flame Valley. Yan Xiao greets Valley Chief Tang. Xiao Yan's expression was unchanging in the face of the pressurizing atmosphere within the large hall and the many gazes focusing on him. He slowly stepped forward, cupped his hands to Tang Zhen on the leader's seat, and spoke with a deep voice. "Cuckoo, young friend Yan Xiao, what's your recovery like?" Tang Zhen's eyes swept over Xiao Yan. The smile on his face also increased as he inquired. "Valley Chief Tang, thank you for your concern. I'm fine." Xiao Yan grinned and replied. "You are that Yan Xiao who wants the Skyfire 3 mysterious flame of my Burning Flame Valley, right?" An indifferent, old voice suddenly sounded. Xiao Yan's eyes glanced over and saw that it belonged to a white-haired, old man seated beside Tang Zhen. Xiao Yan slowly nodded in the face of the old man's question. The old me is the third elder of the Burning Flame Valley, Wu Chen. This time around, you have helped the valley chief refine the fire bodhisattva pill. The old me shall represent the Burning Flame Valley and thank you here. Wu Chen's expression was indifferent. These words had just sounded when he continued, however, the Skyfire 3 mysterious flame is a secret that my Burning Flame Valley will not pass to an outsider according to the rules of the Burning Flame Valley. May I inquire if you will change your condition? As expected. Xiao Yan coldly laughed in his heart. He knew that this matter would not proceed smoothly. Third elder, the old me has promised young friend Xiao Yan. Are you trying to get me to eat my words by saying this now? Tang Zhen's face sank as he questioned while sitting in the leader's seat. The third elder involuntarily became a little dull when he heard Tang Zhen's words before replying, although Valley Chief has promised him, according to the rules. The rules are dead while people are alive. The old me is the Valley Chief. Don't tell me that I do not even possess this bit of authority. Tang Zhen faintly spoke. Valley Chief, please do not be angered. Third elder is only saying such words because of the rules of the valley. After all, the Skyfire 3 mysterious change is not an ordinary secret technique. It is likely that even the first elder would think twice about handing it to an outsider if he was here, no? An elder on the side, who had yet to speak, slowly opened his mouth. He suddenly glanced at Xiao Yan below when he spoke until this point and continued, moreover this young friend, who is called Yan Xiao, has ultimately not revealed his true face. Don't tell me that the Valley Chief wishes to hand the Skyfire 3 mysterious change to a person whose background is unknown. Second elder has overestimated the young me. It is natural to have another layer of protection when roaming around. Hence, I have hid my appearance. Since second elder does not like it, I will remove it. Xiao Yan slightly smiled. His hand rubbed over his face, revealing his actual appearance. Everyone present, including Tang Zhen, was startled when they saw the even younger Xiao Yan after he had recovered his original appearance. That second elder stared intently at Xiao Yan. His eyes narrowed. A moment later he suddenly and faintly said, earlier, the old me coincidentally made a trip to the northern region of the Central Plains. Xiao Yan slightly knit his brows when he heard these words. Recently, the greatest commotion in the northern region is related to the grudge between an unknown, young man and the Wind Lightning Pavilion. Moreover, this young man had charged to Lightning Mountain alone, defeated Feng Qing Air from the Wind Lightning Pavilion and left. Second elder ignored Xiao Yan's expression as he continued to speak as he pleased. There was an unusual flicker in the pretty eyes of Tang Hui by the side. She had also heard a little of this matter. That young man is called Xiao Yan, second elder spoke with a soft laugh. Immediately, he looked at Xiao Yan with deeper meaning in his eyes. He continued, the old me is thinking that Xiao Yan and Yan Xiao should be one and the same, right? Everyone in the hall was immediately stunned when they heard the words of that red-robed, old man. They all immediately revealed surprised expressions as they looked at the skinny young man present. No one had expected this young man, who had such a great achievement in medicinal refinement skills, would possess this ability as well. The Wind Lightning Pavilion might not be comparable to the Burning Flame Valley in terms of strength, but it was definitely considered a powerful faction of significant weight in the Central Plains region. Yet, this Xiao Yan was able to leave peacefully after forming a grudge with it. From this, one could tell that this person was definitely not simple. Tang Hui's pretty eyes stared at Xiao Yan. The itchiness on her hands suddenly became much more intense. She had never met an opponent of similar age who was on par with her. Xiao Yan's expression did not change in the face of the many surprised gazes in the hall. He glanced at the red-robed, old man and faintly said, I am indeed Xiao Yan, but what has this got to do with anything? All I did was simply change my name. The red-robed, old man, who was also the second elder of the Burning Flame Valley, smiled when he heard this. He said, "Your enmity with the Wind Lightning Pavilion is because you possessed the Wind Lightning Pavilion's 3,000 lightning movement. This has ended up causing them to chase you with killing intent. You are not a disciple of the Wind Lightning Pavilion. Where have you obtained the 3,000 lightning movement? Moreover, you currently want to obtain the Skyfire 3 mysterious change of my Burning Flame Valley. Don't tell me that you have an interest in other people's Dou techniques." Xiao Yan's expression was calm as he replied, "The 3,000 lightning movement is something that I obtained by chance. There is no need for me to account to Second Elder regarding this. As for the Skyfire 3 mysterious flame, I am in possession of a heavenly flame and will be able to unleash the might of the Skyfire 3 mysterious change to its peak. This is the reason for me to come to the Burning Flame Valley. Whether I am interested in other people's Dou techniques is not something that Second Elder can manage." Xiao Yan's words were blunt. Hence, the Second Elder's expression slightly deflated. "Xiao Yan, this place is not the Wind Lightning Pavilion. It will not allow you to act in such a presumptuous manner." The third elder of the Burning Flame Valley, Wu Chen, frowned and coldly reprimanded. "If I am to really say those words, the hat of being untrustworthy will be worn on my head in the future. Relax, since I have promised you, the old me will definitely keep my word." Tang Zhen waved his hand. His expression gradually turned cold. He glanced at the two elders beside him as he indifferently said, "I have already made up my mind about this matter. You two elders need not make things difficult for Xiao Yan. The old me is also aware of the rules within the valley. Hence, I did not say that I will give the Skyfire 3 mysterious change to Xiao Yan. According to the rules of the valley, the core disciples can obtain the Skyfire 3 mysterious change after passing through the test. Hence, if Xiao Yan is able to pass it, there will no longer be any objections from the others. Anyone who disobeys will be punished according to the valley rules." Tang Zhen's voice contained a sternness at the end. The second and third elders exchanged looks with one another after hearing these words of Tang Zhen. Their expressions slightly changed. After hesitating for a moment, the second elder finally clenched his teeth and said, "The matter of the core disciples test has always been designed by the Elders' Council. May I know if the topic of this test will be decided by the Elders' Council?" This pedantic old fellow seemed to be really unwilling to allow the Skyfire 3 mysterious change to land in the hands of Xiao Yan, who was an outsider. Hence, he was thinking of all means to hinder Xiao Yan. Tang Zhen's face slightly sank. He immediately replied, "If Second Elder has such an intention, please tell us about the test topic." Second Elder's heart rejoiced when he saw Tang Zhen being a little less stubborn. He opened his mouth and said, "This matter has serious implications and cannot be done casually. Therefore, the old me shall personally be the tester. If Xiao Yan is able to last 10 exchanges in the hands of the old me, the matter of the Skyfire 3 mysterious change shall be decided by Valley Chief." To think that Second Elder is able to say such words, Tang Zhen faintly laughed. His voice contained a little mockery. This caused the expression of the Second Elder to become a little unnatural. He had only voiced such a test because he did not wish to hand the Skyfire 3 mysterious change to an outsider. If Valley Chief feels that Second Elder is unsuitable to act, please allow me to do so. It is rumored that Xiao Yan even managed to kill an elder of the Wind Lightning Northern Pavilion. I think that he possesses strong trump cards. It should not be an impossible task lasting for 10 exchanges in my hands, will it? Third Elder Wu Chen slowly opened his mouth to speak after seeing that Second Elder faced some difficulty withdrawing his words. Xiao Yan slightly frowned as he looked at Wu Chen. His strength was a little weaker as compared to that Second Elder. However, He was definitely an existence comparable to the wind-lightning northern pavilion chief Fei Tian. He would be a little troublesome to deal with. Tang Zhen hesitated for a moment when he heard this. He immediately suggested, there is too much of a difference in the status of the both of you and Xiao Yan. It is not really nice for you to act. I think we should allow Hui'er to do it. If Xiao Yan is able to defeat Hui'er, he will be considered to have passed. What do you say? The eyebrows of Tang Hui'er by the side were immediately lifted when she heard Tang Zhen's words. Miss Hui'er is indeed a good choice. However, Xiao Yan only recently helped her successfully refine the fire bodhisattva pill. Moreover, she is a lady and will involuntarily show mercy. Therefore, she is also not very suitable. Second elder slowly shook his head as he continued, I think that third elder's suggestion is not a bad one. It is the fairest for him to act. As long as Xiao Yan is able to endure 10 exchanges in his hands, he will be considered to have succeeded. The expression of itching to go ahead, that had appeared on Tang Hui'er's face, stiffened. She furiously glanced at second elder. Her appearance was as though she really wanted to charge forward and beat him into a pulp. Tang Zhen's expression sank when he saw that second elder did not agree with his suggestion. His inner heart became a little frustrated. These two pedantic, old fellows really did not listen to nice words. Valley Chief Tang, since second elder insists on letting Elder Wu Qin be the examiner, we will do as he say. Xiao Yan, who was standing in the large hall, finally opened his mouth to speak when Tang Zhen was about to open his mouth and reprimand them. Tang Zhen, Tang Hui'er, and the others were startled when they heard Xiao Yan's words. Xiao Yan, Elder Wu Chen's strength is that of a genuine 8-star dozong. He is even stronger than Fei Tian from the wind-lightning northern pavilion. Are you certain you wish to let him be the tester? Tang Zhen's tightly knit his brows. His eyes bore into Xiao Yan as he spoke with a deep voice. There was a tone of reminder in his words. Xiao Yan slowly nodded. His eyes swept toward the third elder who was also a little startled by his words. Xiao Yan knew that if he did not do as these two old fellows wanted today, it was likely that he would not be able to smoothly take the Skyfire 3 mysterious change from the Burning Flame Valley. Since this was the case, he would do as they wanted and test this third elder's strength. Tang Zhen frowned even more tightly when he saw Xiao Yan nodding his head. He glanced at the two rejoicing elders beside him and helplessly nodded. He said, since you have made this choice, the old me does not have any other method. You only have one chance. If you fail to pass the test, it is likely that the Skyfire 3 mysterious change does not possess any affinity with you. Therefore, I hope that you have your own plans. Xiao Yan grinned and nodded. He was not a reckless person. Since he had agreed to this test, he naturally possessed some confidence. An 8-star dozong might be strong, but Xiao Yan was also not a simple person. He might not dare to say that he could defeat the other party, but when it came to enduring for only 10 exchanges, it was likely that these old fellows had underestimated him. Valley Chief, please rest assured that the old me is aware that he has done a favor to the Burning Flame Valley. Therefore, I will not hurt him. If the Skyfire 3 mysterious change was not a top-tier secret technique of the Burning Flame Valley, the old me would not have intervened. Therefore, I hope that Valley Chief will forgive me. Third elder slowly stood up, turned his head to Tang Zhen, and requested his forgiveness. Tang Zhen glanced at him before uttering 3 words from his mouth, pedantic and stubborn. The third elder was noncommittal in the face of Tang Zhen's evaluation. As long as he could prevent such a secret technique from landing in the hands of an outsider, it was fine that he was pedantic. This place is a little too small. We will begin the test outside. Moreover, I think that the disciples in the valley will be a little interested in this. Let's allow them to observe. It will be beneficial to them. The third elder looked all around the hall and laughed. After which, he took the lead to walk out of the hall. When he passed by Xiao Yan, he uttered, "On account of you having helped the valley chief refine the fire bodhisattva pill, you will be allowed to choose a burning flame valley chi method or Dou technique that is not in the top tier category even if you fail the test. That is not necessary. Moreover, third elder should wait until after the test before saying such words. Otherwise, you will have difficulty retrieving your face should any unexpected changes occur." Xiao Yan faintly smiled. He ignored Wu Chen, who had become stunned as a result. After which, he turned around, and walked out of the hall. Wu Chen finally recovered after he looked at Xiao Yan's back. He immediately laughed out loud and said, "The young people these days are indeed arrogant. Alright, the old me shall see just how you will cause the old me to be unable to retrieve my face."